brilliant stuff coming in. Finally into the action. Love to see it. Hopefully that will be it. But yeah, starting on that CT side, really going to be important here, AGO, just to kind of bring you up to speed with everything that we talked about in the pre-game. This is not their map pick, so they are kind of coming into this a little bit the underdogs you would expect. So starting on that CT side of things is really good for them. MHL looking great across the course of today. So CT-sided AWPing is what Train, a lot of it is about. A lot of it is about that. And maybe they even pull out the double up south as well.
Yeah, the most viable weapon that seems to be on this map is the snipers, so let's see whether it will work out well for the AGO camp. We've got the defuse kit and smoke on Furlan, and utility for problem over on the T side. Seems like default pistols and Kevlar for everybody. I think Kalinka has a P250, if that is my eye is not deceiving me. In towards the upper portions of the B bomb site, it's Fiku that will catch Kalinka for the first frag. Tapping his way, looking for a second kill, getting another headshot. He's done his work and can rely on the rotations of the CT side coming in, but it looks like a last second wraparound towards the A bomb site will come through. They've got pop dog control for JR, and Oscarish will tap his head off in the midst of the jump. A 5-on-3 now as the CT taps continue. The bomb will try and make his way up to the side, but MHL still contesting. Finally, a trade comes back in, but it's a 4 versus 2, and it's favored to the CT side. More picks coming back and forth, and Flourish will try and turn an even standing, but this setup from XCOM AGO is going to be too hard to break.
Yeah, absolutely. Not enough HP to work with as well. The utility, an attempt is made, but nothing coming for Hellraisers, unfortunately. Pretty much no contest, the odd trade here and there. This shot is absolute filth from Oscarish. Actually, that's the one that he missed, I think. There we go, there we go. Yeah, there were two that were very, very, very similar, to be fair. Here we go. The full picture, but all the same, really good stuff from him to stand strong, buys time for the rotations and whatnot to come through. A clean pistol from AGO to start us off. No bomb plant for Hellraisers either, so force buying into this one, it's not going to be ideal.
No, this should end up being a quick clean-up round from XCOM AGO. As far as aggressive straight out towards that IV position, taking out Kalinka to start. Nades on, damage has been done. Myrick to 65 HP. I am to 54. The head Kevlar brought down obviously means that we should be seeing the eco follow up in this next round, assuming that XCOM AGO do win it out. A bit of tag damage done to Furlan, Fiku, and Groovy, so there are opportunities presenting themselves here for the Hellraisers camp, but these Deagles unable to land those headshots, unable to connect the final bullets to the kills themselves. Groovy gets another peek in to do even more damage, and they just can't seem to find a response.
I mean, kind of to be expected in a round like this. Just, unfortunately, not finding those openings. Sometimes the Deags can be deadly, right? All these long-range lane angles on Train. But AGO somewhat aware of that fact, I think, at this point, and just giving them the respect that they deserve. Problem. Ooh, that's a little awkward. Probably should have found that kill onto MHL. Doesn't happen for him. JR the only one left, and not a single frag coming in there for Hellraisers. So really, really nice cleanup for AGO. As you can see, their economy off to a flying start. Meanwhile, Hellraisers, no real option but to save into this round.
Yeah, obviously the standard sort of 3-round sort of pistol conversion setup. The force buy coming in on round 2, therefore basic pistols for round 3. $700 debt invested for Kalinka here, so he's got a Deagle out. He can maybe take some heads off on the early peaks, but maybe 2 frags at best in a realistic scenario here for the T side. Fast play coming out from the majority of the players here, actually all 5 stacking into the Ivy presence, and Furlan's going to read it, spray through, try to do its damage, going to call for backup as well for Groovy around this corner. Onto the Ivy entrance, trying to get the first man down. Furlan lines up 3 frags and all in all. 1 kill will come through for Kalinka, that's all he'll get. JR will fall in the interim, and that is going to be a clean-up again for the AGO camp. I think the M4 also got saved, therefore a 3-0 start for AGO, and the rifles come back for Hellraisers.
Yeah, simple stuff. Nice and easy. I mean, to be fair, any damage is good damage there, so even Kalinka finding the head is always nice for Hellraisers. But this indeed is where we get a bit of a barometer of how things are going to go. Train, infamously a map where if you don't have a T-side prepared, you can just get steamrolled. Even more so recently, I think Nuke is seeing a little bit of a shift. T-sides improving across the board. Great aggression coming in here from Fiku, not able to find anything. Big nade damage though it looks like, and a kill to boot. Pretty good stuff for Fiku. He does actually get that kill that he was so desperately looking for, and able to back away safely. So AGO with a clean 5-on-4 in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, nice smart play as well to lull Flowrich into a full sense of security. He peeks in, sees nothing towards ramp, but Groovy is here behind the boxes over at the upper position. He'll start to peek in, but he is dealt with. So Flowrich is quick to the trade. In the second minute of the round, it will still remain at a 4-on-4. A slight HP advantage above Flowrich for the CT side, but not going to mean much here when it comes to the execution. No. Of the presence looks to make its way over to the Brown Halls. The third player going to go ahead and join the bomb. The smoke set for Flowrich will look to try set the execution and just block rotations coming in. A bit of a luck coming out from Kalinka, going to draw their attention towards Ivy, and that is where the majority of the CTs are ready to swing on. The A-side defensive is bolstered, and as Furlan gets a kill on Kalinka, that will end up being the man advantage for the CTs now. Going to flash over. Fiku going to be seen here towards the bomb train in a moment's time. Looks like he does get Flowrich turned around for the second, drop that bomb. What reactions from him. Triple kill all in the round, and XCOM AGO get away with 4.
That is beautiful from Fiku. Not only does he open up, right, which gives him so much room to work with, on his own, mind you. This is just fantastic. Looking so good on the B-bomb site early on, and it's worrying signs for HELLRAISERS. Worth noting, immediately out with that double up setup, right? So, giving a lot of respect, I suppose, across the HELLRAISERS in that sense. Normally, we see a lot of teams pick up the double ops when they start losing rounds. Of course, taking a quick look at the loot bet odds. Always good stuff. Do be sure there's the panel down below. Give that a click, and you can get yourself 10 free spins as well as a bonus 100 euros on top of your deposit.
Yeah. Investment will be lacking here from the HELLRAISERS side. Of course, their tactical pause has been called. A little bit coming through, I mean, on this half buy, in the Galil in particular. Max loss bonus will bolster the economy stage, so 1.5k will be the limit, the minimum limit here for HELLRAISERS. A bomb plant should be able to bolster that back to a decent standing, but for the most part, it is just standard sort of halfway deco rounds. Seeing the AWP to come out from JR in the next round. The least investment coming out from him. And the AWP on the CT side just firing away here. They've got 2 AWPs in fact in play. It's Furlan firing onto the Brown Hall's entrance. The second AWP of MHL will be defending the B bomb site. A standard default setup here from the CT forces. Passive as anything from HELLRAISERS. Looking like they've got some flashes and smokes that they can use to enter in towards A. And with the bomb making its way out of T-Con, that looks to be the play.
That first line of defense needs to be careful not to go down too easily here. Able to drop back. MHL coming in with that secondary AWP from the B side of things, looking good. Flashes a little iffy there from the CT side, but no harm, no foul. Nothing being found by HELLRAISERS. 5 in a row, super clean stuff. Tiny bit of damage onto Groovy, but nothing to speak of at all. And HELLRAISERS are in a really tough spot early on train, being 5 rounds down. Straight off the bat is kind of where, you know, the difference can be made in the end. If they can't get a foot in the door soon, we could just see XCOM AGO running away with this first half.
Yeah, these rifles, the more that they come by, the more opportunities HELLRAISERS are going to miss, assuming they keep losing them. So, off the back of this rifle, we could be seeing a 7-0 start for the AGO camp. The AWPs challenging each other to the tops of the trains. The Molotovs, incendiaries down from the CT side. And force the AWP off angle, and the AK his eyes towards E-Box. Going to move in with the M4. Does get taken out by his opponents, and the secondary kill coming in against Oscar. She'll leave a 5 versus 3. A little bit overzealous from the CT forces. Fiku does chime back in towards 1 outside the B bomb site, but that's still a 2-for-1 trade.
Pretty decent result. HELLRAISERS now going to have to actualize it. This needs converting. A lot of damage done to a couple of these players, definitely is possible. So yeah, full respect needs to go across. However, Kalinka coming in with another kill onto Fiku in Ivy is surely going to make a big difference. Furlan does deal with him. Oh no, and J-Lam trying to walk around, catch the distracted players, brings it back into a 2-on-2. Going to be a hard retake, you know, 2 AWPs on the retake, never ideal, but it's certainly come back to a much better position here for AGO. I like the advanced position being taken, and it works out perfectly. Flowrich, tagged up ever so slightly, but JR with that AWP going to finish things off. HELLRAISERS do indeed get their first round on the board.
And as you mentioned, the double orb setup for the retake, never perfect. I guess it's one of the drawbacks of being on the CT side is that if you do lose the bomb sites, they are pretty difficult to retake, especially if you do have that double orb setup, which is exactly what XCOM did have. So they are rebuying it into round 7. You can see Fern and MHL quickly bringing those big green guns out. M4s across the rest of the CT board, and the economy still pretty decent. A bit lopsided though. Fiku and Oscarish on 4K or 5K. Everybody else down to their hundreds or a single thousand. Look at the very fast play coming out from Jaya, straight out, defeated by Groovy with the opening kill as they are ready for the aggression. And HELLRAISERS have the bomb in their full control. Need to find a pick back on the CT forces because that kill has forced them to go passive and try and look for picks back from the Pop Dog and Ivy presence. Kalinka could find Fern at the edge of the smoke. Is starting to clear. It all comes down to timing, and it looks like they'll back off. The AWP reads it though. Groovy seeing flashbangs coming out. Kalinka's position has been given up, and the CT package up against him as he gets the kill on Furlan.
Pretty back pretty quickly by Groovy though. So unfortunately, it's not quite enough to give them that that even playing field they were looking for. 55 seconds remaining. A little quiet here from HELLRAISERS, struggling to answer back to truly get a foothold in this round. Trying their best. JR still on the AWP, right? But no one really giving them anything here. The clock keeps on ticking down. They'll throw a bit of utility into A. T-Con is still somewhat open. MHL, meanwhile, hearing all the footsteps and spots someone out on the edge of the smoke. Groovy chiming in with his AWP in all this chaos. And Problem going to be the only one left, looking for a 1 versus 4. 25 seconds, bomb down on the other side of the A side of things. MHL deals with him, and they just cannot get to grips with this double up setup.
I mean, even when they drop one player on the CT side, and it's usually someone there to pick it right back up, and they can use the AWP to their favor. And of course, some skins on those AWP. Speaking of skins, you can get some skins as well from Hellcase. You see the codes on screen for your bonus cash and refill bonuses. So you get yourself through hellcase.com, the official case partner and skin partner of Malta Vibes. So MHL and Furlan back on the orbs once again, set up to the standard connector and Ivy presence. Bit of a ramp aggression coming in from the M4 of Fiku. Well, 2 M4s, the AK also out for Oscarish on their current setup. And trying to get some information out for this one, just bursting through and hearing footsteps. Spearman boosting towards Pop Dog, could get contested. Oscarish will get 1 kill, but he is traded very quickly.
Yeah, so at the very least, damage control from HELLRAISERS. Oh, Groovy, though, his position is absolutely massive. They push out, the communication doesn't seem to be there. Jalem goes down, Problem also goes down completely unaware, so the chance at winning this cheeky round seems to have fallen by the wayside. Biku's still waiting on the B-bomb site. Don't think the bomb plant is going to be easy. MHL to find Kalinka and Fiku to find JR. So HELLRAISERS, I mean, they got their 1 round, but since then, XCOM have gotten the massive reset, just turning things completely around once again. No momentum at all for the T side. This is very, very worrying.
And this is starting to start to echo the results of the Nordavin versus HELLRAISERS series from earlier today, where it was Mirage. They went up 16-4, and they had something along the lines of an 11-1 scoreline before HELLRAISERS scored their second. They were able to get one of the first rifle rounds with the first handful of rifle. What a shot that is. Furlan straight to the head. Oscarish doubling up here towards Pop Dog, and the rifle's getting picked apart like it's easy. Trade does come through, bomb at JR, but that's as far as it will go. Groovy there with the response. JR does respond all the same, but 2k and 23 HP to his name. Can't find the AWP in the back, so a very quickly ended round from AGO, and they will win the half at 8-1. And HELLRAISERS, I mean, you talked about whether or not they would have that T side, and you know, requiring a T side in order not to get steamrolled. But to me, this looks exactly like a steamroll.
Yeah, really not ideal here. It's getting into that dangerous territory. You know, we still expect them to pick up an advantage on the CT side of things, the way that the map works, right? The AGO are in such a great position. HELLRAISERS, it's an uphill battle. They need to string 4 or 5 together at this point. It is starting to get out of hand, and well, this is not the buy they were looking for, not the buy that they wanted coming into this kind of comeback train. Groovy, hella confident, just going for the swing. Fiku to help him out. They are taking some aggressive angles right now, and Fiku with a triple spray down. Looks so very good on the AK, out with the USP to get his fourth perhaps. Flarich trying to stay alive, not going to happen, and the 4K is denied by Groovy, but all the same, the B defense absolutely impenetrable.
Another round where they keep the majority of their players alive, 5 alive for the CT side, and you saw a little glimpse of the money on the pre-buy, and post-buy it will look pretty strong as well. AGO are just having a game and a half here, and you can see right there, there are 2 players on 11K, and no fewer than 4.3K for the CT economy, so they've got plenty of money. I mean, they could lose this next round, rebuy in, possibly justify a force buy off the back of that as well. Everything is going the way of AGO right now, and HELLRAISERS putting up very little of a fight, using the majority of their settle just to make sure the stance here on the default. They do bait in a good burst spray from Groovy. He does his damage, not much of it, and actually has picked apart. So a start now for the HELLRAISERS camp to try to start turning their fortunes to their favor. Got a bit of a control out towards Olaf. JR with the AWP, seen by MHL, the crossfire set from both of the Orbs, and they trade back to 4-on-4 as Oskrish starts pushing forward. He will look for the player out. T-Con Furlan falls meanwhile over towards Ivy. The smoke not going to fade just yet. Oskrish not going to get his chance on the kill. Sees the foot, but does turn it back to 3 versus 3.
Butting. Definitely possible here. For HELLRAISERS need to be careful not to lose these solo fights as they have done in the past. Fiku will pick up problem. Knows there's another in and around the ramp, but Flarich wants nothing to do with it. The absolute monster that is Fiku is just insurmountable right now. 11-1. Rightly so, you want to avoid that situation on your own. But it's a man disadvantage now. Not looking good for the T side. They get their hands back onto the bomb. No utility to speak of. Just going to have to hope they can hit some crazy shots here. Only 30 seconds to work with as well. MHL watching T-Con. Player up on the blue train to help him out as soon as he spots some players. Oh, the timing is perfect for him. I was going to say, looking the wrong way, they could speak out. Not going to be the case. Oh. Oskarish reacts as well. Flarich on top of the ladder. I think his accuracy hadn't quite reset. And that'll be the 10th for XCOM AGO. HELLRAISERS, what is going on?
I think he realizes what you just said right there, that he just jumped up on the ladder at the wrong possible moment there. He was trying to sneak up not to be heard, and if he went any faster than that, obviously his accuracy would have been thrown off, but he would have also been heard, so there would have been no chance for survival, and just the timing couldn't have gotten worse. Second tactical for HELLRAISERS, as they're also asking the same question that you just asked there. What is going on? Remember, they're the ones that picked this map. They're the ones that wanted to play train. And right now, they're questioning it about as hard as we are. 10-1, and it is a CT side for AGO, sure, but, you know, with no basis to work with going into your second half CT side, that leaves you with very little breathing room for HELLRAISERS. Like, it's 14-1 on the half is not off the table right now. Like, they are having a very hard time around this, and they're down to a half by, so they will get to at least 11-1. But you got to imagine, like, you know, like something big's got to come out here, else HELLRAISERS are going to just concede this map in easy.
Yeah, absolutely wild. Oh. MHL with the no-scope, 2 no-scopes in fact. He's just in the shooting range, lining them up, knocking them down. 5 versus 2, looking for a bit more here. Got to be careful, Tech9 up close and scopes at the wrong time. That's a bit funny. Should surely be the only thing that they find in this round. No, okay, J-Line coming in with a dig. Okay, what's happened here? Left on 4 HP. Oh my goodness. I don't believe it. He lines 2 of them up. Mows them down in the same way MHL just did earlier on in the round, and now I think the positional advantage is really going to be the deciding factor here. 4 HP is not enough, and Groovy will avert the disaster, but still, one for the highlight reel there for Jalen.
I mean, imagine if he had clutched that on the Deagles out, but impressive solo plays from 2 individuals on both sides. MHL here with his Orc 3K, almost made it a 4th here on JR. But again, it was this sequence with the Deagle that we're about to see here that really did the damage. Spam shot and that 3rd headshot as well. I mean, there was a good chance that JLM was going to be able to turn that back to the favor of HELLRAISERS, but as you mentioned, the HP advantage, too much to handle. The CTs get upstairs into the brown halls. A bit of a boost coming out here to check over the smokes. There will be T-side presence in a moment, but not at this stage. They've got a bit of IB control from JR, which has been challenged and shut down. I'm going to assume that was tag damage from Furlan. As MHL gets his head taken off thanks to good timing. Straight for the smoke, a kickoff for HELLRAISERS. The M4 of Oscarisha E-Box, though, trades it back to 4 versus 4. And as the T-Con has to worry about, he will get that kill in response. So the man advantage is to favor of HELLRAISERS, but not for long. Furlan's got position. Is he going to go for the knife? Is he really going to go for the knife against Kalinka? No, he won't. That's a good thing, because Problem's got his kill in this round, taking out Groovy on the bomb site, keeping, again, the man advantage to the favor of HELLRAISERS.
Certainly a little dicey there. For just a second. Have they weathered the storm, though? That's the real question. HELLRAISERS. Oh, they need every round going. They need every round going, and just on the other side of the smoke, they go past each other. Fiku will just turn around in time, but goodness me, that could have been disastrous. Meanwhile, JR go for the no-scope. Hello, why? Oh, just scoped in. What's going on? He goes down the ladder into the 1v2. This is absolutely mental. 30 seconds left. He's got the bomb in hand. They have no idea where he's at. He's just a phantom right now. Hits the quick scope onto Furlan. Fiku the only one left to deal with this here for XCOM AGO. He's low HP. They have no idea pretty much where either of them are. A lot of noise being made by Fiku, but JR's had the opportunity to drop back and looks at the perfect time. Goodness me, his timing in this round is fantastic. Still only a second round for HELLRAISERS, but we can get hyped for it because that's a pretty nice clutch coming in from JR. Pretty nice round in general.
Yeah, 3 big kills coming in from him, mostly coming down to timing. There were these missed no-scope shots that could have cost him big time. But fortunately, his adjustments there with the AWP and the peek in towards the player over at Ivy couldn't have been placed more better. And it is going to be one of the few high points they have here on this T-side half. Maybe 1 or 2 more would be okay. 11-4 is workable. Difficult, but workable on CT side of Train. Look at MHL here with the AWP Furlan. Set up with the M4, expecting there to be a T-side player pushing aggressive, so they're going to try and battle it with sheer aggression of their own right. Flashbang in, does not blind off the AWP player. Second face in from Kalinka, still gets that kill. Does not see where Furlan is. The smoke will go down. Looks to recover that AWP, get out of dodge.
Seems they are slipping towards the tail end of this first half then. Are indeed mortal. Ooh, Fiku though, I thought he would maybe find a couple, you know. It's Fiku, been having a hell of a half, but unfortunately knocked down a bit too easily there. Nice pick up from Oscarish. Are they going to still try and go for this? They don't really have the most amount of money, but Ruby seems to have ideas. Flaric's ready for him though. And surely Oscarish saves, maybe tries to recover an AWP if he can. But HELLRAISERS picking up the pieces towards the end of the half. There is obviously that massive question of whether it's too little too late. They're going to need a hell of a CT side regardless, but all the same, it is nice to soften the blow, as it were.
The AK staying in for Oscarish could be at least a consolation prize for Adrian going into the last round of the half. AK staying in. It could have been nice if they had 2 rifles to the M4 as well, but it is what it is. The force buy will look awkward from AG. I imagine MHL might be tempted to drop a rifle. Oscarish will buy that scout, pass it off to Furlan. They're going to go double sniper. Yes, they are. AWP for MHL drops an SMG. The Fiku will be on a very broken buy up here, so putting a lot of stock in the AWP and the snipers in general. MHL and Furlan better be ready to show up big time here in round 15.
Absolutely massive from them is the requirements. They've looked pretty good in some of these previous rounds, though, on the scoped weaponry. Oh, great nade onto Oscarish. I thought it would do more there, but a bit of a chip. 33 damage to be exact. But still room for a bit more. Oscarish. More bangs, trying to find a head. It's not going to happen. Meanwhile, maybe it was just a distraction play. Unfortunately, Groovy cannot capitalize. Falls all too easily. HELLRAISERS with the advantage going into the final round of the first half.
Deagle Fiku will try to push forward and catch them on their backs turned. We'll have them facing the other way instead. So, Fiku caught dead. 5-on-3 situation. Whoa. Is your game feed gone as well, or is?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Screen at the moment. Okay.
Something has gone wrong, as we're being informed. I'm not sure exactly what's happened. I'm not sure what the situation is in that round, but it definitely does look like HELLRAISERS are about to take control of their fourth on that T side.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe some shenanigans. Hopefully, we won't miss too much of it. But it definitely does look like there is going to be a fourth round. But still, not ideal for HELLRAISERS, honestly. They have not been having a great time there on that T side. We talked about how important it is, right, to have a T side prepared for train. They clearly didn't. AGO, you'd think 11 rounds would be enough for them to work with, right? And they have the likes of Groovy, who's had some pretty decent T sides in the series earlier on today. Fiku as well, really, really good stuff from him. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Problem, Flarich, even Kalinka to a certain extent, really lagging behind in terms of the fragging. So it's a really hard one going into that CT side. I think you need all your players to be working to a decent level so that there isn't like an exploitable hole on the B bomb site, for example.
Yeah, and it's kind of a shame that we're sort of like talking about those players, because we obviously in the pre-game we hyped them up because we were like, hey, Flarich, they built the team around him. Problem is, you know, again, the pun has not been a problem. I think, honestly, he has been a problem for the T side once again. 2 frags so far in this half. It's not really been fantastic. I remember someone going like 0-0-11 as well at some point for that T side. So HELLRAISERS have just they've really struggled here. And it is on T side, so, you know, you're expecting it not to be a fantastic half by any stretch of the imagination. But as you mentioned earlier on in the map up, it's like they need to have something to work off. If they need, you know, maybe, you know, 6 rounds is probably, I think, you know, a very good sort of half for a T side. 5 rounds probably okay. 4 rounds though seems to be a little bit difficult more than anything for HELLRAISERS. And it looks like, yeah, they did manage to get that 4th round. It was a close affair though. 2 players were left alive by the end of that 15th. So, you know, XCOM still showing up a bit of a fight in this one.
Look to that second map a little bit. AGO's pick Vertigo. It is, I would say, their best map, their favorite map. Maybe Nuke, they might debate that with me. But all the same, I feel like HELLRAISERS need to pick this first map up, and now it's going to need a hell of a performance into their second half on their CT side. We'll see what they've got. Rushing straight into the brown halls, certainly not the most common attack that you see from the CT side. They're going to go straight into the brunt of that T side as well, but it's looking good. Flarich with 2 heads will be traded back. All even for now. JLam and Groovy fighting, that could be a key exchange, but it doesn't seem like it's going to come through into full fruition. Ooh. JLam, got to be careful, playing with fire, spots out the knees, but no frag for him, unfortunately.
And that rush for HELLRAISERS could have done so much right there. Oh, USP from Kalinka in the back of the head of Fiku will take him down next. Oscarish out, Kalinka doubles up, taps up in the back lines. Can't quite get them. Groovy actually takes him and JR down. And on the shoulders of his name, he will look to try and clutch the round together for his side. It's going to be a quick fast push and a good headshot coming back from Groovy. A bomb plant to be secured. It doesn't matter. XCOM have won the pistol regardless. A 12th to the board of the T side.
Oh, look at those as well. Yeah, not the best. Not the best. I'm no expert, but I would imagine betting on HELLRAISERS right now wouldn't get you too much of a return. See what the scouts and Deegs can get done here for the CT side. Looking relatively good for AGO to clean things up here and now. If they can take this round and the one after nice and clean, they're in a great position, right? 14-4, that would put them at, and then a rifle round. And the game pretty much comes with that. The HELLRAISERS pressure on, backs up against the wall, gun to their head. They have got to come up with some kind of a game plan, and quickly. Needs to be on the fly, needs to be instinctive, needs to be super effective. Nice little outside execute coming through. Jordan does an awful lot of damage onto Fiku. Kalinka will take down Furlan. Is it going to be enough? However, Flarich missing too many shots costs him his life. 4 versus 2 as JR is on the scout. They've spotted him out now and should be wary of the facts. Yeah, and forcing him away from the site ultimately, so not looking too good here. Will go down eventually. Problem just going to save his Deeg into the next.
Yeah, 1-on-4 for him. Head Kevlar as well. I mean, it gets a little bit of a bonus going into the eco. We'll have to concede a 14-4, and off the back of the rifles is where HELLRAISERS will try bringing the comeback in. The AGO, though, continuing their strong hold of Train off the back of their CT side as well. AGO in such a good position. I mean, they spared very little expense in that last round. They only lost an SMG. Rifle stay up, and victory bell is rung once again here on the A-bomb site. And appropriately so, because this gets worse, doesn't it, for HELLRAISERS? It was like 8.5 a moment ago, now it's a straight 11. I mean, it would be a fantastic bet if they brought the comeback here, but that just goes to show how little faith is being held in this team at the moment.
Yeah, I think so, and maybe dwindling faith in themselves, which is kind of the worst thing at this point. But we'll see. Hopefully they can turn things around here. VQ will find the first. Kalinka finding 2 headies on the Deagle, though. Uh-oh. And they're stacking on top of each other. Team kill comes in. MHL, absolute disaster. They're actually at the man disadvantage. Great Molotov, however, to get the free frag onto JLam at E-box. Should be able to clean things up here, I think, for the rest of the round. Looking good. Okay, all right, maybe not. Missing all the shots there. It comes down to the 1v1, 20 HP, the difference there, Jay. So certainly a bit too close for comfort for XCOM AGO. However, at this point, doing damage is great, but you need to be picking up the rounds if you're HELLRAISERS.
Well, it was a non-investment round, so it kind of, in the long term, it can prove to be very valuable, especially with the money line being about $1,000 on the float. MHL has $300, the exception to the rule in this case, but it is kind of enough to really reset the economy for all intents and purposes for HELLRAISERS. So it's got to get this good rifle round out, and they've immediately brought into the double AWPs again, sparing no expense for the CIS team. Oscar is straight out with the AK-47, forcing one player off the red train. Trying to get a bit more aggression out here and try and take down some of the CT forces, but no one else is showing their teeth. It's just passive control, push back further here for the HELLRAISERS. They've got a bit of pop dog presence that is going to be the most forward element. MHL watches, keeps his eyes on. Groovy will pop out some windows as Farish opens things up with a kill on Oscar. They put the smoke down towards the bomb site, and a second kill comes in against Groovy. So 5 versus 3, E-box control taken. They've got the T-Con players making their way out, bursting from JLM, gets FIQ next, and now it's all left to Furlan and MHL. Last 2 players left, and this looks like the CT forces are going to claim a 5th for their side.
Certainly the best time to do so as well on that comeback train. Looking very, very good at the moment. If they lose a few more, maybe it is a bit too costly, but we'll see. Flourishes. So clean onto Furlan there. MHL as well, going to be tagged down to 9 HP. Quick shot onto Jalem. Don't want to lose any more than this on the CT side of things. I think the round itself, though, is not going to happen. The bomb down in no man's land. They know exactly where he is. Yeah, so just going to look to save into the next. And HELLRAISERS will indeed buy themselves a bit of a lifeline. Keeping them away from 15 for as long as possible is pretty important, and dropping all the players is a nice result.
And again, with the damage they did on that eco, it's going to put the economy basis for AGO in a very awkward stance. A single round loss bonus going their way should mean possibly a force buy to a double eco. And if it works, that'd be great for them, but obviously it's still going to be a double eco, so we could be seeing a 7th coming in for the HELLRAISERS camp. Do have 2 rifles to work with on the force buy round, an AK for Groovy, a Galil for Fiku. Oscar is first man out of the gate here with his utility, straight on towards Olaf. He's got the Deagle in, he got leg shotted out by the AWP. And Kalinka will finish it off with his kill. Of course, JR credited with the assist with the bomb. He's going to get a kill back on Flaric. Flash over against Kalinka, he still connects 1 kill on towards Furlan. They've isolated that bomb planter in his position here on the T-Con area. It's a 4 versus 3 favor, of course, to that CT side. A little over a minute for XCOM AGO to turn the situation around.
Oh, bit awkward there. MHL managed to creep out. Kalinka looking good on the AWP, though. Double ups out for the CT side. They are also capable here on the HELLRAISERS end. Yeah, brick wall hit early on then, it is safe to say, for XCOM AGO. Their T-side rifle rounds not looking as effective at the moment. But feel fairly confident in the fact that they're able to close it out at the moment. Yeah, we're not starting to believe just quite yet for HELLRAISERS. Just consolation rounds at this point. Getting a bit of confidence, getting a bit of momentum going into the next map. Vertigo, certainly going to need it, right? We talked about how effective AGO are on that map. But nothing coming in this round for Fiku. Will be the 6th for HELLRAISERS for surviving. Looking good. It's a nice formula if they can stick to it. And this could work out.
Obviously, it's still a long way back in, but they're on the right track. Nico coming in, the SMG brought down by Problem. Could bolster the economy even further for the CT camp. They keep as many players alive as they possibly can here. The Incendiary is coming up from Flourish. The nades up early on towards that T-con area. Can't quite find the early damage. It's actually after this Brown was where the T-side will go. And Problem's going to mill up that first frag alongside Furlan falling to JLM. SMG continues to make his way out towards Shower. Sees where Groovy is. Good pop out from the Deagle, does get himself a good kill as JR able to respond with the AWP. Clarence on towards the Pop Dog area is seen. He drops that bomb. And they should know where Groovy is here. They're getting that reload. The bomb's going to get dropped out as a fake flash, which is quite entertaining. I think he knows that his time in this round is done. And will be a final frag coming in for the M4. 4 rifles staying in play, including the double up setup. So the economy can build the HELLRAISERS as the buyer looks to come through for AGO.
See what it looks like. Their economy on the ropes, so may not be perfect here. Well, as close as possible, I suppose. A bit of utility missing. Of course, no AWP is the big thing. But definitely workable. The buyer's not the excuse for AGO coming into this round, that's for sure. 7 more to go to even things up. JR getting aggressive. Does need to be careful. Big flash coming in to force him off. Looked like for a second he was going to meet a T-sided player there, but not the case. So no craziness coming in early on here. Just going to be back into that simple default. Some aggressive angles from these golfers right now, and Kalinka loses out. Oscarish with a quick one. Kalinka wasn't sure whether someone had pushed up. He needed to be sure of himself with that aggression, to be honest. Oh, the smoke going to dissipate. The worst possible time for Flaric. He's just mag-dumped all his bullets. Now a 4 versus 3. Problems found one back, but it cost him a fair chunk of HP.
And this is very winnable for AGO. HP down on Furlan, but if they can isolate Problem, then HELLRAISERS probably won't be able to recover the round. JR has continued to push aggressive with the pop dog control on the top end coming in from the CT forces. Furlan's going to keep those rotations away. But this USP, this AWP could do so much, but the main bomb site control falls down. Still the AWP peeks in, continues pushing around, sees one at the top of the train. That's a kill coming in against Fiku. And a flank on a retake that could still work out, but the plant down open for Green. Incendiary that will siphon off Furlan from his teammates. If he gets a little bit too overzealous, he could get taken down. But time is ticking, and HELLRAISERS need a bit more out of this than just peeks and prods. And as the AWP falls down, the AK is left alone. In connector, seen now by Oscarish, will take a fight that he won't be able to win. On 32 HP, he can't face directly. He is out of there, saving the AK and conceding map points to AGO.
I feel like it was inevitable, honestly. They had some good rounds in there. They weren't super decisive most of the time. But, okay, probably going to survive. Take a player down with him, so it does end up being a bit costly for XCOM AGO. But yeah, it's really difficult to not slip up and make a mistake. The thing is, they do manage to, you know, keep them at bay, keep them at arm's length for a good few rounds there. Is it enough? We'll have to find out, right? They need 8 in a row. Which is no easy feat. That is for sure. I don't think it's controversial to say at all, so we'll see whether they're able to pull things back here or not. Only time will tell. It is going to be incredibly difficult, though. This is a decent buy to indeed keep them at bay a little while longer, and the aggression from JR once again not successful. He will survive. Oh, does need to be careful. Stacked on top of each other there. Groovy almost gets a free frag. Not going to be the case, however. And they drop back into, once again, that passive default.
First orb challenge could have gone much better for the CT forces. It also could have gone much worse. Slowly aggressing though, they're expecting players to be out here, and this man could get caught off guard. Groovy thinks he's safe, but think again. JR opening up the round here for HELLRAISERS. Furlan in no position to protect his teammate, and if he was there on the Brown Horse platform, then he may have been able to get those 2 picks and keep his teammate alive, but as it stands, the ramp control has been gained. A bit of aggression towards Pop Dog could allow a split to come through between Flaric and a problem. Furlan burning alive to the Molotovs. Incendiaries thrown out by these CT forces. Flaric will also burn the 13. It's going to get the kill on VQ. Jalen barely gets that bomb drop. MHL can respond to a 4-on-2 though. It's favourable to HELLRAISERS. The flicks not quite connecting either from the T side, and as they run out of HP, they run out of chances. Awkward sprays through the smoke. Can't quite connect to Flaric. It's right there, and finally Furlan will take him down. But 2 HP for him. MHL not much better. Bomb dropped to CT control. This is looking like an 8 for HELLRAISERS.
Oh, and the touchdown nade onto MHL. Beautiful
So
stuff.
perfect.
Love to see it. Maybe catch it on the replay. Oh, indeed. I mean, what can you do, right? He sees it coming, life flashes before his eyes, and it's all over. It's all over. All right, let's see an eco coming out from XCOM AGO. A few upgraded pistols by the looks of things, and obviously a bit of armor, as you can see. 7 rounds more to go for HELLRAISERS, and this should be a slightly easier one for them to contend with. Again, do need to be careful that it doesn't come too close, doesn't end up being too costly, and certainly not the place to go in this map either.
Upgraded pistols at best for the AGO camp. Recognizing their money is still in a decent spot, and their lost bonus should also retain, so they should be in a decent angle to play up in the next round. If you can punish overly aggressive CTs, that'd be even better, but Jalen drop Fiku to start. Blocking from MHL, will he drop him back up the man down? He'll try for it, gets a dink off, but no kill against him. Meanwhile, a stack out towards the Ivy control is what's going to be the big players coming in from AGO, all 3 members remaining. 2 players cross, and I don't know if they saw that bomb just yet. They should do in a moment. Good shot from Kalinka as Flaric drops out 2 of his own. And there it is. An on the ball for HELLRAISERS. Money's looking okay from AGO. They can't justify an AWP unless Furlan was to go without Kevlar. And yeah, they'll just go full AKs across the T-side board.
Yeah, I mean, simple stuff, right? Not wanting to go too wild, too crazy just yet. Still have a fair amount of rounds to play with, but don't need to be desperate at this point in time. Looking good though. Once again, the buy not going to be the excuse here. Aggression coming in across the board. Looks like a bash ace. Split, almost a double spray down for Flaric. Quick little trades coming in from the T side though, keeping things even. We always say these even trades beneficial for the T side. Problem trying to indeed live up to his namesake, but unfortunately he's not big enough. The 2 AWPs to hold them back, to keep their chances alive on train. The positional advantage, oh my goodness, that was so very close. I thought surely, but no, not going to be the case. JR and Kalinka do indeed manage to do it. 5 more rounds to go.
The timing on that swing from the AK couldn't have been more mistimed. Of course, the AWP swinging out, the perfect time to take out his backup. A swing back from Kalinka as well. And just perfect placement there from HELLRAISERS to adjust. AGO just can't quite sneak that victory from under HELLRAISERS. What was an 8-round comeback has turned to 5 here. Probably 4 with the current state of the economy from the AGO camp. They are setting things up in the defaults here out towards Brown Horse for Groovy, the Tech 9 moving up. The AWP of JR waiting to receive them. 2 players to round this corner first. Up, shot missing out. M4 problems taken out by Furlan. That's the Tech 9 frag for the first. Quick AWP kill from JR, drops 1 more. Back to the trader with a flick to the second. The smoke down to keep himself covered off towards the Brown Horse. May even disappear through that smoke, seeing bullets come his way. He's going to wait for the T-side player to cross past him, and JR takes him down for his 3K. MHL left dead, and there's Oscarish left alone in the back line. 1 versus 4, and HELLRAISERS will clean up another pistol to go to 11.
Yeah, just trying to throw themselves at that to get the bomb plant. unfortunately not going to happen. So I suppose that's very well done from HELLRAISERS in that respect. Taking AGO an awfully long time to close this one out. Now starting to get into that territory, particularly if they pick up the next round. Maybe you do begin to believe. Overtime looking more and more likely, of course. This time we'll see the AWP come out. MHL does have the cash for it. So something a bit different for HELLRAISERS to contend with in that sense. Still the double ups out from them, which in the same way they were not able to deal with it, it does seem XCOM AGO are also struggling pretty heavily against that double up setup. MHL is going to have to be the difference, essentially. He needs to deal with one of them, ideally early on. So get it going here. Going to take an aggressive peek. Not crazy, but certainly looking for a fight in the first few moments of this round. Warback is coming in as well. Does need to be careful. He's a little isolated. Doesn't want to go down too easily. They're just going to have to concede T-connector just like that.
Okay, it's just continuing to push forward, try and force the CTs out of angle. HELLRAISERS will eventually concede T-con back. Furlan spotted towards the corner of Pop Dog. He gets himself one frag, but Flarage also out here. The Molotov trying to burn off his position. Little does he know that he's so close. Ends up paying for it. Groovy next to face it in Pop Dog position, but he's unable to find anything above the CTs. The other three of his teammates are back over towards T-con entrances outside of the Olof position. A flashbang over. Was that a smoke? I can't really tell. Looking with a smoke, the execution coming in from XCOM AGO. JR standing by, first pick on Fiku. Trying to deny a second kill, but he can't quite find the man. Peeking forward, and Ruby will catch him off. Oscar's taking out JR, and a third frag comes in for those two players. As it feels like the A side's been overwhelmed, it feels like this is probably going to be the end of the map up here. AGO have a bomb plant to take, a 1-on-3 defend off. It's very likely.
Indeed. It is looking good for them here. Problem is going to have to step up massively to keep his team alive a little while longer. As soon as he goes walking around this corner, he's straight into the crosshairs of MHL, who does not miss. 16-11. It certainly takes an awfully long time for XCOM AGO to clean things up, but they do it nonetheless. That is going to be it from us for a little while. We've got to get that next map ready and raring to go. It's Vertigo after the break. Hang on.
Welcome back to Malta Vibes. If you're just joining us in the midst of our HELLRAISERS versus AGO series, well, I mean, you haven't missed all that much. 16-11 went the way of AGO. It was a very dominant CT half, followed by, a less dominant T side, but they were able to turn it over in the end after the back of a few awkward rushes. And now looking over to Vertigo as our second map for this one, Scriv. And it is a much more sensible pick, I think, for that AGO camp. Again, it is one of those maps that they play relatively often, and they tend to do pretty well on it.
Yes, a solid one for them. Letting it through the veto may well be a bit of a mistake, but then that is how things go when you've got a permaban on the HELLRAISERS side of things. You know, you get rid of that overpass, and it leaves Vertigo completely open. And Train, we also said, had a few question marks around it. Sure, they play it a lot, but then AGO are pretty confident on it. Is it the correct pick? And, well, appears it wasn't so much for HELLRAISERS. It really cost them an awful lot. May well have been a different story if they'd have started off on that CT side. Did look comprehensive, but surely a map you're picking that you play a lot, you've got to have that T side prepared. But like you say, coming into Vertigo, there is a little bit more confidence with the predictions, I think, from you and I. AGO, solid map from them. They play it an awful lot. They're very good on it. It does, I think, seem to be their favorite, their go-to when it is open, and certainly looking good more recently as well, picking up some pretty decent results against some kind of good teams. You know, we've got Endpoint in here and whatnot that they've taken a result off of, lost very close as well. But teams that you kind of look towards that you think, okay, they should definitely be winning this, they are doing so. It's a pretty clean stuff from AGO across the board on Vertigo.
Yeah, and I mean, for Vertigo, there are two teams I absolutely love watching playing this map, right? You know, and one of those teams is AGO, just because they have such a good handle on how to play the map from both a CT and T perspective, which usually a lot of the times you see just like a T-side execution basis, a default basis, where a lot of teams tend to play out that T-side and just use the map's balance to their favor. But AGO is one of those teams that can still have a good CT side at the same time, and then suddenly you're looking at a situation where on the defensive, it can potentially turn away from their own half, from the opposition's half, and I think that's roughly how this is going to end up. Side on this one, and I imagine the T side sort of, I imagine the T side sort of pick will end up going the way of XCOM AGO. We'll see to get to see their choice of side as of this moment. It looks like they will stick on the CT defensive, so yeah, that makes sense to me. But we are very confident that regardless of what side they choose to start on here, Scrib, this is going to end up being a 2-0.
Yeah, I think so. There's an argument to be made for AGO. I think their CT sides in general are a little more effective. And we've just kind of seen that, right? It did take them a good amount of time to close things out on Train on their T side of things. So makes sense. There's also a large argument to be made. The way the economy is at the moment, it's kind of tough going into the CT side with a deficit. A lot of teams, when Cobble was out and out T-sided, started on the CT side, so kind of makes sense. Of course, those odds coming up pretty heavily in favor of AGO here. So definitely going to be a tough time for HELLRAISERS, sorry, on the ride back to this reverse sweep it would require from them.
On the pistol round, the HELLRAISERS camp, we'll have the utility set up here for JR and Problem. Flash Smoke and HE for both players. Double HE's coming up immediately to try and flush out the sandbags position. CTs haven't got anybody posted up there, so there'll be some information given away to AGO. Charging the alley and construction positions on two players. Very passive stances from the CT defensive as AGO just wait and bait for someone from HELLRAISERS to peek up first. Looks like the Glocker Problem may be the player to go for a hit.
Ooh, okay. Like the idea from Furlan, trying to block the smoke and perhaps create a bit of a gap for MHL to work with. However, it doesn't look like they're really following up on the execute. Great position here from Fiku. Absolutely fantastic. Only gets one, though. Maybe expected a little more from him, Oscarish and Furlan. However, just following in the footsteps, it seems, on the CT side. And the players over on the stairs, not with the rest of the team. That's a very messy attack from HELLRAISERS coming in. They are very split. Seems very rushed, I think, and not prepared at all. So that's a very messy pistol.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like the idea for HELLRAISERS to try pull the fake out towards the A bomb site, but they have to be ready to either rotate in back behind their teammates immediately, or have to stagger the actual execution itself to go in for the to go ahead and join them from the split. And they didn't do either of those things. They were very delayed to the stairs rotation. And we'll start things off with a decent kill from Kalinka here on the stairs entrance. Will tap his way through that wood wall and hopefully catch a secondary kill, but Fiku is already the first man down. That's a good start here on the force bite. AJO still having their automatic weapons in play, the SMGs and the M4 for MHL in particular. You stand out weapon for this one, and they have found a 5 versus 4 advantage already, but trade susceptible, and indeed Furlan takes out one. JR with the bomb's been spotted as well, so info man advantage doubling up for a secondary kill as well towards this front position. Third frag possibly down. Incendiary and JR will make him burn alive. MHL will end off a headshot before that happens.
Good stuff coming in, as they will continue to press forward, turning some good cash. Okay, Kalinka with a spin around. That's pretty nice. The Deagle of Kalinka is so strong. I think we saw a moment like this on the previous map as well, where he very nearly stole one away. Blank is incoming, and that is ultimately what they are just buying time for at this point. He's watching for it all the timing. Gonna work against him. Here's the footsteps, but unfortunately doesn't win the fight. Ah, that's such a shame. I mean, if he'd have found that one, the 21 HP Furlan looks a hell of a lot more doable, but once again, we are robbed of the hero ace it would have been overall for him.
Not to be, although you can see the HP numbers on those players, so it certainly would have been possible for him. If he got that shot off of Furlan, I think that would have been much more viable, but as it stands, Eco Pistols back out to 0, looking to the third. Fiku getting an early kill, forced back on a dink to 15 HP, so Pistols are still doing a fair amount of damage. So Link can get another good headshot back into those stairs, spamming his way through, and that last bullet just couldn't connect to the head of Oscarish. So on the reload, completely defenseless. The 5-on-3. Again, HP leaves two players very susceptible to trading, but I'm imagining that this is probably going to end up being a simple defensive from the rest of the AJ players.
Okay, broken spray down there from MHL. A nice frag to be picking up. It's, you know, one of those rounds where they're just happy to get any kind of frags at this point. There's a couple low HP players left on this B bomb site. I mean, if they're not careful, Fiku looking at you could end up going down and also conceding a bomb plan, which would be a massive achievement here for HELLRAISERS. Both working well, playing the headshot angles, yeah, and eventually winning the fights out. The automatic weaponry just a bit too much to deal with. JR gets a slight upgrade to a P250, but the MP9 is his worst enemy right now. No armor to speak of, and having to tap the head. The Wazdering of Groovy going to be difficult to pin down. Okay, does catch him off though. 20 seconds left. Needs to move in. He needs to die or win the round, right? Because the loss bonus is required right now for the buy to come in, and there you go. It will eventually go down. Third in for XCOM AGO. It's not super clean, I have to be honest, but still that bare minimum of 3, I suppose. Meanwhile, HELLRAISERS coming in with their buy, looking to shut things down here from the CT side.
I mean, they do keep their 3 rifles in check, which is the main thing for AGO. If they had any of the SMGs dropped or saved in, then that would have ended up a much more expensive round, I feel. The AWP can come out from MHL pretty securely here. It does look a little bit awkward on the economy basis, so ideally they need to win this next round and confidently. Already, again, is Kalinka starting things off with a kill on Oscarish out towards these B stairs. The first casualty is sustained. Furlan can catch off one player, getting aggressive out towards construction, drops out Jalen. And Kalinka getting flashed out, trying to get forced off position. The CTs know that he's there somewhere. They need to continue on to do some damage. He'll only be down to 77 though, so 4-on-4 situation. AJO will continue their standard aggressive and passive faces, expecting further T-side control, and eventually they will get it here towards that ramp default. Flash in, JR with the orb, not going to be taking pop shots over at ramp. Furlan did see him though, and he should know that the orb is there. Watching out the alley position, and Incendiary will just keep them from pushing any further forward.
All quiet on the Western Front. A little bit of utility. Ringing out, breaking the silence. Great angle here from Gruby. He's second-guessing himself, though, and well, not sure if that is the decision. They will start to come towards him, checking his angles. Timing going to be absolutely everything. Utility comes over the top from the stairs. They'll peek, and the fight is won by Problem. Fiku has to stand strong, and there's so many different angles they can come from if they just wait patiently. So surely they shut him down, but a miscommunication. How do they not know he's there? Okay, he will be trailing back pretty quickly, and they've pushed forwards as well. It looks like any chance of a retake is going to be nullified. 1 versus 3, and yeah, peeking straight into the crosshair of JR. MHL not able to find anything. Perhaps would have liked to see him saved there. But all the same, HELLRAISERS with the first rifle round.
And that's going to hurt quite a bit on the economy of AGO. Down to the basic pistols on a forced half buy. Some players buying down to the hundreds, others barely investing anything at all. Upgrade pistols are the name of the game for the CT cap. HELLRAISERS have the weapon advantage and most likely the main advantage going into a second round. Going to be careful use of the utility out here. The HE's up, not going to do any damage, and Flowers will double up towards that mid position, taking 5 versus 3 very early on for the HR cap. It's MHL looking for some sort of aggression that might catch off a T-side member, but honestly, his chances are slim, and in general, the CT chances are slim from here on out, losing 2 main picks back over there in the mid area, leaving Oskrish alone to defend B and mid all by himself. Too many angles to cover, and Adro just don't have the manpower to hold this round.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fair enough. Maybe if they find a little bit more damage here would be nice, a return on the investment. Or, well, any damage. They've not got a single frag as yet. But like you say, bar some kind of crazy play, the round itself is somewhat by the wayside. Jalen holding things down. Yeah, kind of want to push in, but Berlin on his own, bit ill-advised, checking a few angles, taking some wide peeks. Jalen is just trained like the Terminator right now. Here's a few footsteps. Meanwhile, the hit is coming through on the B-bomb site. Oskrish, the only one here, trying to find a head. A slight gap in between the default box and the smoke. Okay, that's a nice one onto Problem at the back. Maybe not the one that he was looking for, but all the same. That one frag coming in. I think with the bomb going down, MHL and Furlan, again, might just look to take what they've got into the next round. Keep that pressure on, because I think the chances of even finding a kill here are pretty damn slim.
Oh, AK spray might go into position. MHL will take a second kill for his troubles, so an AK that they can use in the next round. Relief on the investment. Obviously, Adrian might not even be able to justify the buy off the back of this, so that opens up a few more options with the rifles. And yeah, about $3,000, so maybe might not be as likely as I might think. Could still see a force buy coming out from AGO. I don't suspect that it's going to be a likely little affair from them, but yeah, no. Deagle's in. Basic pistols. 1 AK for MHL. Seeing what they can do here on another eco.
Yeah, really slowing things down here early on. HELLRAISERS are messing with this economy, that is safe to say. Oskrish going to find Kalinko. We're seeing a lot of bodies be dedicated here towards the ramp. MHL trying to play around them, but unfortunately not able to do so. They recover the AK back. 4 versus 3 as Fiku finds that frag. Uh-oh, this is starting to become a bit more problematic. Berlin in with another. Oh, HELLRAISERS trying to take them at the forefront, fight them directly. But unfortunately, it is not working out. They needed to play a little safer rather than getting down and dirty. However, maybe plays like that from Fiku need to be nipped in the bud. 3 versus 2 with Furlan being low and no armor to speak of for any of these players. Suddenly, HELLRAISERS have a little bit more of a chance back into it. The bodies are less dangerous. So yeah, a bit of a blunder, I think, from Fiku to keep going forwards like that.
Seeing nothing towards that gap. Try and make his way through that gap instead. Try to get the clock on plant, 20 seconds through the clock, and he's trying to stall for time, get Ostrich in the back line to protect it. No! The Deagle instead comes up with another good kill. 3k for Farland. And another AK save for AGO. They profiteer on the AKs.
Goddamn. Not a round you want to be losing if you're Hellraisers, honestly. That is very, very messy indeed. Huge, huge issues showing themselves early on. I don't know, man. I guess there's a lot of bodies, but I think the issue is they just fight when they needed to play it a bit safer, a bit smarter. Sure, it's good to have confidence. I suppose they're confident into this round. Jalen, though, kind of on his lonesome. MHL looking good from Ali with 2. 4 versus 2 coming in. Bomb going to be dropped in no man's land. They're flanking around and containing the T's perfectly. Kalinka the only one left, and he can't find anything at all. XCOM AGO revitalized off the back of the successful force by then. Incredibly good stuff. As we shall see whether or not Hellraisers are able to come back. Shout out to the Hellcase boys. Got those codes on screen for you that you can use. MaltaV15. Get yourself a few bonuses and whatnot when you are using the Hellcase services, our primary partner for cases and skins. Either way, Hellraiser's going to have to eco this one out, as it is starting to get a bit scary.
Yeah, like 5-2. I mean, like, you know, just taking a look at that with the early stance here, the fact that they lost was essentially, like, you know, in eco. I wouldn't even call that a force buy what they had in the AK round. I mean, they had a bit more of a half buy with those Deagles out. But not a lot of Kevlar, not a lot of utility. And again, doing all that work with very little investment, grabbing 2 AKs, both of which are now bolstered firepower. The AWP from MHL looks so confident. And now Hellraisers, they're back to their own eco stance here. They've got Deagles in, Kevlar, just Flourish. So, Deagle eco from the T's. Out to the mid position for 3 of them. Fiku's backed up here with the AK, straight through. Kalinka gets 1, trying to tap onto the second, taking some damage. Straight through, drops that bomb, tries to turn a triple, couldn't quite make it happen, but problem on 32 HP. He does have the bomb on his back, needs to rotate to his teammates and stay alive here as they start falling of their own accord. It's Furlan keeping his sights on JR. Problem's going to go ahead and join his man. He's a boost up. Taps up, headshot found, and last player also seen. So CT start closing in from the backstab, start rotating out to the A defensive. They have the bomb dropped on top of the box. I don't even think JR can even pick up that bomb. He's got to basically concede his life or otherwise get 4 kills on the trot. And yeah, 3 frags are thrown on the defensive. Hellraiser's going to crumble to pieces here.
Not looking good early on then. They are indeed, like you say, crumbling. It is very, very troublesome. Very, very troublesome indeed. Maybe given a bit more time, they can readjust here. As we've said, though, coming into this, the T side of things is generally where we favor Vertigo at the moment. But XCOM AGO more confident in their CT side. Absolutely fair enough as a team, and you can see why. The aggression is working very, very well. 1-for-1 trade, not ideal, not perfect, but they've got the ramp control that they were looking for. And now hoping to actualize that into yet another round. Hellraisers, their unpreparedness definitely showing through here on this second map, and the 2-0 looking more and more likely if this continues. It is early days, but it's just the fact that some of these rounds are so very dominant from AGO. Nice creep in from Jalen, though, able to drop Furlan. That's a pretty important frag picked up, bringing it back into a 3-on-3.
Larich and JR on the rotation back to that mid position. The CTs are currently not contesting the active positions of the Hellraisers camp. They've got 1 player over on the B site defense holding from the stairs face. Push a second player out here towards that mid control, but he's rotating back to the A bomb site, so they're going to keep their two main players here on the A play. Oskarish going to be waiting. JR back turn. The timing couldn't be worse, but they still deal with the player. Oskarish with one frag. Couldn't find his second, leaving it all now to MHL. P250 a little bit late to the party, but the York will try to go for the retake here. Scope in. Can't catch Flowich, the bomb planter. He's back behind the AC box. Well, no scope fire onto the corner, no T-side player will be seeing the flashbangs and the Molotovs should give off rough positions of where they're coming from. Further flashes also force MHL to go blind and fall even further back. Time is ticking, he has that kit, needs to find Flowich first up, scopes in, does not land his shot on the face. The second flick's also not going to connect. So Flowich gets away with an AWP, a kill, but it's Jalen there with 3 is the real hero of the round for HELLRAISERS.
Indeed. Great openings from him particularly, right? Early on, giving them so much room to work with. And they are able to convert. Need to keep this going, though. Need to keep the ball rolling at this point in time. XCOM AGO still got a pretty nice cushion of rounds. They don't quite have the econ to support another loss, but all the same, looking good, feeling good. Would love to get the immediate shutdown. Easier said than done, however. And just as he creeps up, JR knew. He saw the gap on top of that smoke. MHL is not pulling the wool over his eyes today. That will be the opening coming in for HELLRAISERS. Furlan, though, knows his angles. And this ramp area, it can be absolutely deadly. And there's just not very much you can do about that. However, the hit coming in towards B, it's a little crazy. Players all over the shop right now. Problem. Taking the risky jump. It's all good, though, because Flowich and Kalinka are creating the space. He's not even needed. 4 versus 2, and I think they've got to save.
Yeah, all up an M4. 2 on 4, and very touch and go defensive from the B bomb site. And it's obviously one player being pushed back into the back of the site based off of the lack of resistance, I think, from the or lack of aggression, I should say, from the HELLRAISERS camp. There was one player that was forward enough to hold them off, and of course the pick coming in from Kalinka did basically everything from there. Furlan and Groovy, last 2 players left on the CT side to save their weapons, as you would expect. Probably bolster up a decent half-buy or eco round going into the 11th. This will be a 4th for the board of HR. And I mean, I'm kind of a bit disappointed in AGO right now, because off the back of their eco victory, they look so revitalized, they look so confident, and then ever since then, it's kind of just been, you know, a little bit sort of like hit and miss so far. Open the M4, just going to be seeing some deagles around it, and that's going to be the basis of round 11 for XCOM AGO.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? The rifle round's not quite as clean from the CT side, which is somewhat strange. I think this firepower that HELLRAISERS have got is really coming into fruition, and, you know, we're seeing players all around the map just finding openings, multi-frag rounds. Very, very, very different at this point. Boost up coming in. Trying to play it safe. Ooh, problem. There's a few bullets ringing off next to him. Definitely does need to be careful. Smoke going to dissipate. Oskarish spots him out. That's a bit messy. Able to maybe get another no. Kalinka will deny him, but the room created for Groovy on the AWP. It's an advantage for XCOM AGO. Once again, on the weaker buys. So it seems these looser, riskier kind of rounds have been working a lot better for them. And we'll see whether HELLRAISERS are able to pull things back. Furlan wins the fight against JLam. Pretty big one. Not looking good. 4v2. Big nade coming in as well. Going to do some good chunk damage. And HELLRAISERS once again. Looks like they're going to fall flat against the rifles. Love the boost as well. Great thinking. That surely seals the deal.
Yeah, like the timing couldn't have been better for the CT faces. All the aggression coming in at the right moments. All the picks going for their favor. The boost up, the nade on point. The M4 on point, the AWP of JL, the last thing that remains. They can get 2 AKs. Possibly even save the double orb setup if they really want to. And now he's been seen here by Fiku. Furlan swings in from the back, gets his USP frag, grabs that AWP. 3K to his name as once again an eco round goes well for AGO, and I keep doubting them here, Scrib. I keep saying, listen, they're not going to be able to do much from here. Just the simple pistols just shouldn't be enough against Hellraiser's full-blown buys, and it seems like every time I'm getting proven wrong by this CT camp.
Yeah, definitely can not be underestimated. Like I say, I'd like to see some of this aggression, and you know, that really quick boost up idea is fantastic. I'd love to see some of that coming into the actual rifle rounds themselves, but I don't know. It seems they need the excuse of having the pistols, having the less risk associated to make those kinds of plays, because I think the way the map works, they have a much better read on things than Hellraisers do. That much is obvious. So use that to their advantage in these key rounds and shut them down properly. It is, of course, going to be the return buy from Hellraisers, so it's nice to retain their lead, nice to look good. Oh, nice to creep round as well from Fiku. Got to be careful, almost gets traded quickly there, but a nice pickup coming in. Absolutely fantastic stuff from XCOM AGO once again. Furlan playing it safe, goes out of the way. Flaric just taking out Groovy, and Furlan with the reposition gets the better of JLam easily. The pest on the ramp has been dealt with, and the man advantage retained.
Yeah, 4-on-3, and Problem and JR in very awkward position with their facing. Of course, the HP numbers on both these players. JR will swing in with his AWP against MHL. It will come to an AWP battle. All down to timing and facing the right moment. The bomb gets dropped as well for MHL. 2 players left, 1 player left. Blaric, 20 seconds to the clock. Might catch Ostrich in the back. No, his back is turned. And that'll be AKs recovered as well for the T side. The double up stay in play. 4 alive for AGO as they take the half 8-4. And I mean, Hellraisers are putting up a decent enough fight here on T side, but it just doesn't seem to be good enough.
Yeah. Definitely seems to be missing right now. And like we said, it's the stronger side. You kind of expect them to have a little bit more here and be the ones in control. Just doesn't seem to be the case, and it is very problematic. It is very problematic indeed. Now going to be down onto the upgraded pistols, the deagles and whatnot. We've seen AGO had a great deal of success with these. Maybe not going to be the same, at least for Kalinka. 4 players remain for Hellraisers, looking to make something happen. Over a bit, head going to be spotted. That's a beautiful pick from Groovy, in all fairness. Another player in the same spot does need to be careful. Going to take him down as well. The one-man army in at middle just cannot miss. Jalem can't even take him down, and MHL's here with another AWP. A perfect way to break apart a pistol push like that. Fantastic stuff from AGO once again.
Beautiful shooting there. Just watch it again from Groovy. Connection to the one man, a reface in. Tiny amounts of information gain and the adjustment towards Problem just to flick towards what otherwise would have been a headshot, but just tight angles all overall. And that third reface in particular, just beautiful stuff. And the AWP's brimming with confidence from AGO. And it's a terrible sign for Hellraisers because they really need some sort of, you know, low swing in order to try and take them down and get some 5th on the board. That Orpa Groovy wants nothing to do with any low performance. He gets straight up aggressive in towards the mid area, takes out JR for the opening frag, on towards ladder room. And Furlan, evading the flashbangs, knows that Jalen is somewhere out here and catching his shadow on the left-hand side of the smoke to a 5 versus 3. They do force the Orpas to fall to low HP and also force them off their aggressive angles, but Groovy falling back towards CT, and he can control from here. Like, he played this position so well in the last round. As Oskrich gets Kalinka, it's only the 2 players left in mid, and M4 will join the fight. Join them in control. They do drop Groovy, but Fiku there with a quick trade back and trying to double up. Indeed he does. Nice and simple again from AGO.
Yeah, looking really good. This is starting to get problematic for Hellraisers. We kind of had some confidence in them early on. Their rifle rounds were looking very, very good, and then they've lost against 2 ecos. I don't know, ever since that first one as well, it just seems they've not been able to bounce back effectively enough to keep things competitive or to even take the lead, right? They've constantly been on the back foot. The pistol definitely plays a part, but have massively dropped off towards the tail end of this first half, in all honesty. And it looks like we might see a bit of a repeat. 11 is looking more and more likely. The buy not ideal from Hellraisers. Sure, they've got the rifles, but nade kills coming in, no utility to return with. Essentially, I think, you know, a couple flashes and a smoke and a Molotov that we've seen. Gonna try and go for the cheeky boost up here. Jalen good for one on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, and the angles just not being checked properly. 4 versus 2. Looking good here. Being caught sleeping in at middle. 2 quick kills coming in for Flaric and Kalinka. This could turn the tides, actually. Fika will take down Kalinka. Flaric, meanwhile, Furlan on top of the smoke. That is a great angle to finish the half with. 11-4. Another dominant CT side coming in from AGO.
And Vertigo as well. HELLRAISERS have had a bit of a tough time, and they better be ready for that CT default to either show up or bow out. And again, for those of you who might not have been keeping up with the group stage today, this is our decider match, our final of the group stage. So HELLRAISERS will need to get the victory if they want to stay alive, and right now the odds don't favor them. A loot bet has no faith, and I mean, you yourself, if you do have faith, you can go to that loot bet website and go ahead and bet on those odds. Of course, in the banner under the Twitch channel, there's a €100 bonus on the deposit. So if you want to take advantage of that, then, well, hell, maybe HELLRAISERS might give you a hell of an opportunity. But honestly, I feel like that comeback is so unlikely, and, well, case in point for the defaults on the pistols. I mean, Problem's going to get a bit aggressive and take out Fiku, so that's a good start for the CT side. Joe with plenty of time to find a response.
They are, though, in a great position here, Jay. In behind, looking really, really good. Need to be aware of this. A bit of a ticking time bomb. Oscar seems to have an idea and going to check it. That is fantastic. Manages to find the frag. Could make all the difference. And now they're thinking, maybe there's a bit more. Maybe we can go B. Oh, beautiful shot from Oscar-ish. As there you are, the advantage gained by XCOM AGO, and the B bomb site looking incredibly vulnerable right now. Kalinka has to hold things down. He's checking in at mid. He's unsure whether they're all just dedicating to the stairs or looking for the split. But he will be the last line of defense on this B bomb site. Smoke coming in to give him the fewest angles possible. Looking to get aggressive. Another smoke as well. Trying to find a frag just before it blooms. Not going to happen. Spam not finding anything. The B bomb site looking like it is going to fall. And Kalinka doesn't even win the fights on the unexpected Groovy. The Glock's doing all the work. Flaric, the only one left in a 1 versus 4, not looking good for him, and it looks like AGO will pick up that 12, pick up the pistol, and look to close things out quickly. My goodness, HELLRAISERS missing a lot of shots.
Yeah, and that's not encouraging. Really not encouraging on this defensive. I mean, you need to grab those heads, you need to get those kills. And 12-4 for the T side board. Mat 10 coming out from Furlan, but his rifles across the rest of the T setup. Get a little in for Oscarish, could be a weak element, but you can already see him is ready for CT aggression. Out here for the Mat 10 of Furlan, dropping out J-Lamb first for the frags. Of course, $600 gained for every Mat 10 kill, so bolster the economy even further for AGO. And really ensure that HELLRAISERS just can't do much from their position. Passive along their entire CT line off the back of that opening frag. A bit of aggression coming in from a JR towards alleyway, but he's got no backup here on B site. If he goes down, it's a free bomb plant.
A lot of bodies here early on for HELLRAISERS, though, so AGO do need to be respectful of that fact. I suppose the simplicity of the execute is always nice. A little deeper from them as well. They're going to want to clear these angles out. Mac 10 to lead the way. Does so much damage. Doesn't find the kills, but sets them up, right? Will go down. I think that's going to be the only frag for HELLRAISERS. Flaric might find a cheeky one, but forced out pretty heavily here. And yeah, we see some great retake smokes from CT sides and whatnot, and utility being used, but of course, there's no chance of that for HELLRAISERS. And the initial positioning is just not effective enough. There you are. Final frag coming in, 13-4. AGO steamrolling through here. Immutable with their goal at the moment to close things out 2-0.
I should be sitting on the buy coming in from the HR camp. See some more good shooting from Oscarish here. I mean, this particular flick back on Problem was just, I think, you know, round changing there on the pistol, because it was a man advantage up to that point. The M4's coming in on the buy-up here from HELLRAISERS. Severe lack of utility, though. Like, you can see how much they had before they started throwing it out. They will be able to get advanced positions that do work out for the opening kill. JR taking out Furlan for a start. They're backing up carefully off the back of that opening frag. Flaric will find himself 2 more in mid. That's even better. Fiku and MHL suddenly left alone, being challenged aggressive here towards the B stairs. Fiku and MHL do try and back in, though, so man advantage still left for HELLRAISERS. Both players are extremely low on this T-side setup, so they'll work extremely hard to try and get themselves together, and JR's working even further than back lines. M4 picks up for Flaric, gets himself 1, doesn't get the second, so MHL continuing to get damage, drops in, and JR will drop him, so it will be a 5th for HELLRAISERS, able to respond to the 2 of the AGO start here on T-side. The money's also not looking great, so we might just be seeing a force coming out.
Definitely seems a little crazy there. But yes, indeed, I mean, hard to tell who has the better buy here. I feel like rifle-wise, it's got to be the CT side, but they are lacking in utility for a good few players here. Certainly exploitable, going to be a fast ramp hit coming in from the T side. A lot of damage taken into the Molotov. Oh my goodness, Oscarish just falls straight to it. MHL will be the first to find a head, but it's still a 4 versus 4. JR as well, holding to maybe wait for them to come around that corner. He wants to go for it. He is so impatient. It's a great little off angle. Are they going to be expecting this? That is the question. Not going to be the case. He tries to catch them with nades in hand. Can't find a frag, but gets information and able to drop back.
And Groovy taking out JR. 4 versus 3. The spray back, trying to do even more damage through the midst of the metal walls. Problem facing Groovy, dropping. Flaric on such low HP, he can blind spray through the smoke, but only do a minimal amount of damage, left to fall back and save. And plant down, nade on site will only do damage again. No kills going the way of the CT forces here in post. And this will be 14 for AGO.
Yeah, the force buy incredibly effective. Linker will win the fight against 1. Molotov going into the sandbags as well. Maybe gives a chance for a few more. Not going to happen. And Flaric is too low. He didn't want anything to do with it anyway. Just looking to save, and I think he'll be able to do so successfully. But like you say, 14th round coming in. Looking very, very good for XCOM AGO to clean things up here in a relatively quick fashion. I mean, this is just massively what we were worried about. The fact that they do not have much of a vertigo to speak of on the HELLRAISERS side of things, and it is really, really showing in the worst possible way, unfortunately, over on the HELLRAISERS camp. You never know. Keep them away from 14 for as long as possible. They could pull things back here. We'll have to see. Time will tell.
2 rounds for HEO, so they might not have much time for the HELLRAISERs. And look at Furlan straight in with the sprays. JLM taken down immediately. And the response from the CTs is just not coming out. They'll fire blind through the smokes, and the Deagles hoping to get something out for this, but just the stack up in from the T-side camp is so many spread out positions, so few shots landing towards them. M4. As Flaric will find a final response, but MHL quick on the return, so no man advantage for HELLRAISERS at all.
A dire situation. To begin the kind of comeback train that we're talking about with a buy like this, it's tough. I respect the idea to go for the aggression and to try and take the faces at ramp, but it's always going to be hard for you. It is a very, very difficult position they find themselves in. Time will tell whether they'll be able to come back from it. I like the 2-man stack at Ali. Will it be effective is another question. There you go, 1 for 1. So the exchange itself is cool, but AGO have still got a solid man advantage, and problems being forced forwards, forced into the fight. Scrooby will win it. Kalinka on the other side of the map. Not much he's going to be able to do here. 3 versus 1, MP9, no kit to speak of. It looks like at least this round is going to be said and done. The game might just come with it. gonna have to go for it. I mean, kind of has to. Unfortunately, just not gonna work. Oscarish watching the angle already. 10 map and match points for XCOM AGO. You'd think they'd be able to clean it up. It took them a little bit of time on train to do the same, but ultimately were able to do it. And once again, the buy coming into this round from HELLRAISERS is not great.
Yeah, this is gonna... I mean, it's just disappointing, I think, from HELLRAISERS, because we talk about their promise in today's matchups. We saw their best of 3 results, and then now we're seeing this result here. And, you know, I would have hoped that there would have been some way that they could contest against AGO, but just some of the scorelines, some of the rounds that we're seeing coming out of these guys have been very disappointing. Unfortunately, it looks like the disappointment will carry all the way through into the final rounds of the matchup here. Probably will get the opening kill. It's traded back by Oscarish to a 4-on-4. Spray through from Flaridge gets Groovy next up to a 3-man standing, so man advantage at least gained by the HELLRAISERS.
Yeah, something to work with, keeping them alive, I suppose, for a little while longer. Oh, Flaridge needs to be careful. Left fire. He and Jaylam looking to end the round here and now, but they actually give the advantage away. That could be the play that makes the difference. MHL and Oscarish are both left very, very low, but bringing it back even with a minute left, they have so many options as well as to where they want to go with this bomb.
In 45 seconds, they're looking up towards mid. Oscarish going to take first face, and they are low on HP. Kalinka could line up 2 easy frags, but want to play towards that B bomb site, which looks to end up being the position, looks to end up being the commitment here for the AGO camp. Time is ticking away. They have to isolate that headshot. If they can take Kalinka down, then they basically end it off, and he is going to be checking out that stack area, also keeping his eyes on stairs. It all comes down to timing for Kalinka, and they're going to go back towards A instead. The Deagle of JR is pushed up aggressive, so he can't deny the bomb plant directly, especially if they plant towards those default positions. 10 seconds. Time is up. MHL sees the bomb site, going to check out alley, and now needs to go for the plant here. Duck his head down, going to get some backup. Oscarish going to keep his eyes on the backline rotation. Deagle's in, missing all its shots. And Kalinka, the lone man left standing for HELLRAISERS to keep them alive in this series. It's a 1 versus 2. It's spotting the first player, but MHL blind sees those traces, connects the headshot, and it's just not to be. 16-5. And again, a poor performance from HELLRAISERS to bow out of this tournament with a whimper as opposed to raising hell more than anything else.